Have you ever had one of those moments where you want to look at your partner and interrupt whatever they're doing and say, just let me do it? Let me do it. You don't get it. Let me do it. Or maybe you've had one of those moments where you notice that your partner keeps making the same mistake over and over and over again. And no matter how many times you tell him, he just doesn't seem to get it. And does it make you absolutely crazy? Does it make it feel like you don't know how to communicate? Maybe he says you're not making sense, and it just turns into this big tiff. There's an argument, and you feel like you're in the same situation all over again. Well, if that's the case, I think today the tip I'm going to give you will be so life altering. I know that when I first learned this, it rocked my world, rocked my mind, and it really brought a whole level of better communication and connection to myself and my partner. So I'm really excited to dive in and share that with you today. So, for those of you that are just now meeting me for the first time, my name is Holly Burby. I am a relationship coach. I'm an intuitive and a healer, and I work with women who are kicking ass in their business and in their career, but for whatever reason, their love life is just not on the same wavelength. They find themselves missing red flags or repeating the same relationship over and over and over again. So, for as amazing as these women are, as much as they are incredible and going for it and doing extraordinary things, their love life, they're not quite acing just that much. And they're really frustrated. So, my work in working with them in Warrior Goddess Queen coaching is really about allowing them to stay the warrior woman while also having these tools and techniques that can help them be heart-centered, communicate more effectively, and also relax and enjoy and have fun in their relationship and keep that love that they've really been after for so long, that they waited for, that they, created and brought into their life. So here's what I want to talk to you about today, as I mentioned a moment ago. So those moments where we get really frustrated and look at our partner and say, just let me do it. Fine, I'll do it. Or why aren't you getting it? I had another coach friend of mine who is phenomenal. Just did a Q&A session with myself and some women that I was leading in a transformational workshop. And as he was taking a Q&A, his perspective, my perspective all weekend long had been working with these women on what is the feminine principle and what does it mean to live in the feminine principle, and then what is the masculine principle and how does that coexist in all of us. And so when I brought in my friend, he sat at the front of the room and I said, okay, let any questions that you all have about relationships, communication, whatever you like, go ahead and ask, and he's going to answer from the perspective of the masculine principle. And so he first sat down and he said, listen, there are two things you really need to know before I get started. He said, thing number one is that men and women communicate completely separately, differently, two different languages. So despite how hard you want to say something a certain way and want them to get it the first time, they're just not going to, because they simply don't think the same way, and vice versa. And then the second thing is the wisdom that he imparted on us that completely rocked my world, rocked my perspective. And so here it is, and I want to give you this golden nugget. You ready? So what he said is, the greatest fear of the masculine principle of men, is being humiliated. And the greatest fear of women, the feminine principle, is that her masculine is going to kill her. I said to him, you can pretty much go now. We're done. We don't have to do the Q&A session now. And why I thought that was so impactful, and what this has to do with the example that I just gave you a moment ago about that interaction between, honey, fine, just give it to me, let me do it, is when we step in, there's these little subtleties in how we communicate with the men in our lives that are little by little humiliating them, or allowing them to, they have this feeling of being humiliated or being emasculated. And I'm not saying that we have to go around stroking people's egos all the time. I'm not saying that either. But I think there's a level of, the masculine principle. So whether we're talking about men or women, the masculine principle communicate very directly. They mean what they say, and they mean what they say, and they say what they mean. And when we're thinking about, well, what did he mean when he said that to me? That's what he meant. There's no cloud around it or misinterpretation. Like, it's very, very direct. Women communicate a completely different way. So it's not necessarily, so what we can do as women is when we bring communication to the table, give our request and give our directions very, very specifically to the man. And we also, with the feminine principle, have the ability to ask for what we want, show him what to do in whatever regard I'm talking about, and temper it with compassion. Like, have compassion with it. Know that, they really, like, one of the major primary masculine principles is that they want to win. They want to win. They want to have a success. And so in this case, like, they already have you. You're the prize. You're the win. But then in this moment, as you're dating them, as you're getting to know them, additionally to that, they want to know that they are pleasing you. They want to know that, like, hey, I'm going to fix this for you, or I'm going to cook this meal for you, or I picked up the the right tampons from the store for you, right brand and everything. Little things. If they know that they win, it goes a really, really long way. But we, on our end, we get to be very specific with our communication, which, as warrior women, when we're in our career, we do this all day long. We're very direct, we're very specific, we're very, goal oriented, solution oriented, but then we go into our relationships and we expect them to know what we mean without us actually saying it. So that's what I wanted to share with you all today, is when you have those moments where you're just thinking, fine, give it to me. You don't get it. You don't get what I'm trying to say. Just let me do it. When you have that urge to come in and take over the task at hand, or tell your partner he doesn't get what you're saying, step back. And sometimes you may be at an impasse, but more often than not, it has something to do with how you're communicating it. How can you be even more specific with your languaging and set him up to win, with a sense, instead of, coming from a place of, you just don't get it. You don't listen. You're not, because again, that can lead to feeling embarrassed or put down or humiliated. And it may not impact them in the moment, but little by little by little, we can chip away. And we mean well. Like, we mean well. We want to get the task done. We want to complete something for them. So oftentimes, like warrior women, we'll just step in and do it ourselves. And sometimes life calls for that. And there's a way to have both partners in the relationship, you and him, win. And so I really hope this was impactful for you today. Temper your communication with compassion, even when it's direct. Remember that you always want to feel safe in your relationship, and he always wants to know that you're going to have his back and you're going to be compassionate as he's learning new things, because ultimately he does want to have a win. And part of winning is having you by his side and making him happy. And if you are still single, you're in your singleness, or whether you're in a new dating relationship and you're still wondering, wow, I never even thought about that, and you're looking for maybe some other things you're doing in your relationship that could be slowly chipping away again and again at your partner, go ahead and click the link that's here in the email. You can book a free discovery call with me. Let's talk it out. Let's talk it out. I know for a fact that I have some tools and techniques that you can put into your relationship that you can start to notice. This is like, why am I dating the same person over and over and over again with the same result but a different person? Even when I think I see the red flags, why am I missing it? So let's look for the blind spots together. Doesn't have to be, tedious or treacherous. It can be something so small. One piece of knowledge can change the entire game so that you can have the best love life of your life, the one that you dreamed of. Keep the person that you've always wanted by your side, where you feel fulfilled, filled up. So do they, and you can create the life of your dreams together, because you've got it all, he's got it all, and isn't that what it's always about? So until next week, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Again, click on the link, book your free discovery call with me, and let me coach you through something, and I can support you and help you out with anything that you like. And until next time, love always, in all ways. Bye.